assure employers that the person is trained and qualified to manage projects. PMI is also an organization that oversees the documentation of project management body of knowledge, PMBOK, with the PMBOK guide. So let's define what is a project management body of knowledge book. It is a standards for the project management body of knowledge, and it is the entire collection of process, best practices, terminologies, guidelines that are accepted as standards within the project management industry. Because the body of knowledge is constantly growing and the practitioners discover more methods or best practices, it must be updated and disseminated. This is an effort that is overseen by the Project Management Institute of PMI, or Project Management Professional, which captures the published project management body of knowledge within the book. The project management reached to the 6th edition, as the first edition was published in 1996, and now in its 6th edition, which was published in 2017. Who is eligible for the PMP? Individuals who are working on a project teams and are looking for learning the language of project management. New project managers looking to start their career in a project management. Existing project managers looking to learn content of the project management body of knowledge based on the 6th edition. To apply for the PMP, there is a prerequisite or requirements to apply to fill the application and get the application approved, then proceed with the exam appointment. So the candidate must meet several requirements to obtain the PMP certification and sit for the exam. The education requirements are relatively flexible. You will need to either secondary or primary degree. So if you get a secondary degree, you should get 5 years experience, approximately 7,500 hours. If you get the bachelor degree or equivalent, so 3 years experience is enough. It's equal like 4,500 hours. But in the both directions, you need to get 35 hours education in the project management. So let's brief it. If you have a the degree, you need only 3 years experience after graduation, which equal 4,500. If you don't have the degree, you need 5 years experience, which equals 7,500 hours. In both, you need to get the 35 BDUs or 35 hours project management education. What about the PMP exam? The PMP exam consists of 5 parts or domains which test your competencies in more than 20 skills area. The exam also tests your ability, understanding, and the knowledge of each of the skills that are required of industry standards project managers. Because exam questions are frequently reviewed and revised, the content is highly relevant to actual project management. Very important that most of the questions in the final exam is related to the actual project management. That's why they need the minimum years of experience. Therefore, they also change the exam formats every few years. The exam contains 175 scored questions and 25 unscored questions. Unanswered questions are scored as incorrect. So you should try to answer all the questions. Actually, there is 4 hours. The exam duration is 4 hours. To answer multi-choice question, 200 questions. How hard the PMP exam? The fail rate for the PMP exam is actually quite high at an estimated like between 40 to 50% from the first trial. There is no specific number of questions that must be answered correctly in order to pass the PMP exam. Each question is graded based on its relative difficulty, meaning that if you get all the easy question right, but get all the hard ones wrong, you could still fail the exam. There is no way to distinguish the questions that are scored from those not scored. They are randomly selecting the 25 question which is unscored. The best plan to prepare yourself for success to study as much as possible with a quality material. Make sure that you are familiar with the type of content, the questions that are likely to appear in the exam, and take several practice exams. Let us admit PMP exam section, the 5 section or the main of the PMP exam including this description or that percentage are going to be changed in 2021. So let's focus here as we are still in April. The 5 section is initiating the project, 30%, planning the project, 25%, executing the project. They are distributing the percentage based on the process group. Closing the project or executing the project 30%, closing the project at 8%. Until 2005, in order to pass a PMP exam, you get the minimum percentage of 61 correct answers was required. However, this is no longer the case. Unfortunately, PMI no longer publish their minimum required passing score. Instead, questions are graded and scored based on their difficulty, which makes it difficult to pass simply by answering a certain number of questions correctly. In addition, only 87.5%, which equal 175 questions, are actually scored. PMI stated on their website that passing score on the exam are determined based on psychometric analysis of candidates, answers that show their ability to perform well in their job. That means that one person might pass with 60% while another might fail with 65%. In other words, each exam is scored individually based on difficulty of questions that are answered correctly. So let's go through how the PMP exam is changing in 2nd of January to 2021. The existing exam, which is starting from 2015, the percentage will distributed based on the process group, initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, and controlling, then closing. Starting from the 2nd of January to 2021, the percentage will be distributed based on people, process, business, environment. So they have minimized the number of areas, domains, to 3 areas only. So let's go through it quickly. People managing conflict, how the project manager competencies to manage the people in the project. The source and stage of conflict, analyzing the context of the conflict, and they see the percentage of people are 42%. So it will be based on your experience, your interaction with the project's conflict. Evaluation, recommendation, reconciled, appropriate conflict resolution, which is the main point. The list percentage, which is 8% or 50% for the process. The list one is a business environment. So approximately it distributed between the conflict management and the processes. We have 49 processes. Each process has inputs and tools and techniques and output need to be studied well. It will give you a 50% executing project with urgent requirement to deliver the business value. The least percentage with a business environment, supporting organizational change, how you matching consists with the organizational process assets, the environmental of the projects, which has a significant impact. So what is the value of training course? The use of innovative training techniques, automated process, efficient learning management system, and standardized training materials, best study materials, high quality study materials will assist you to prepare yourself. Best quality instructors should be PMP certified, have many years of experience in the project management field. They have diverse experience in multi-industries and domains, plus they keep the class entertaining and ensure great learning experience. Let's go in details for what is the project management methodology. The PMP is not only the methodologies to manage the project, there are many methodologies to choose from, each with their own set of rules, principles, processes, and practices. Which methodology you should implement depend on entirely on the type of the project. You will undertake the most popular methods as follows. There is a traditional sequential methodologies, for example, waterfall project management, critical path method, critical chain, Agile family, there is Agile project management methodology, extreme programming, Scrum, Kanban. There is adaptive project management framework like Prince2, Prism, and our PMP project management body of knowledge method. The PMP, the most advantage of the PMP is not industry specific and it is valid for all the projects. Project management fundamentals and terminologies. During this upcoming slides, we'll go through the project's definitions. We'll define the project business value, how the importance of the project management, how to know the difference between the project, program, portfolio, and operation management. We'll go through some details about the organizational system, project management office, definition of project managers, roles and responsibility, project life cycle, project management life cycle, and the project management process group, project management knowledge area, a project management process, and then the project phase gate. Project definition, the project is temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. This is the main definition of the project. The temporary nature of the project indicates that the project has a definite beginning and end. So we should know the difference between the ongoing operation and the project. Each project should have a start date and end date. The end date of the project, the end of the project reached when one or more of the following is true. The project's objective have been achieved. The objective will not be or cannot be met, funding exhausted and no longer available for allocation to the project. The need for the project no longer exists, mean that the project has been terminated. The customer no longer wants a project to be completed. A change has been done in the strategy or priority ends the project. The organizational management provides direction to end the project. The project is terminated for legal cause or convenience. Not. Projects are temporary, but their deliverables may exist beyond the end of the project. Project may produce deliverables, social, economic, or material or environmental nature. Still in the definition of the project, what is the second characteristic? Unique product, service, or results? Projects undertaken to fulfill objectives by producing deliverables. An objective is defined as outcome from the project, strategic position to be attained, purpose to be achieved, or result to be obtained, product to be produced, or service to be performed. A unique result, such as an outcome or documents, can be a project. A unique combination of one or more products, services, or results, for example, software application and its associated documentation and help desk services. Here are some examples for the project. Improving a business process within an organization is considering a project. Acquiring and installing a new computer hardware system for use in the organization, considering as a project. Modifying, not maintaining, modifying a computer software program used in an organization, considering as a project. It has start date and end date, then has a unique deliverable. In general, the project has a scope, should be well defined based on this project type, related budget, cost, linked with the procurement and related cost of risk. Any project has a duration, as the project has a start date and end date, so the project duration should be managed. So scope, cost, and time, it is a triple constraint of the project. We need to manage in the same time project scope, cost, and time. So it should be a scope baseline, cost baseline, and schedule baseline. The deliverables, the outcome from the project, giving a business value. The project enables business value creation. A business value in the project refer to the benefits that the results for a specific project provide to its stakeholders. So at the end of the project, once we get the outcome as a deliverable, it should have a business value. So we define the project. So how to manage the three constraints in the project: scope, time, and cost. So you need to apply the project management methodology. Project management is both science and art. Science is systematic projects of managing work efficiently and effectively to deliver planned results. This includes tailoring effort to meet the needs of the project and using appropriate processes and tools to accomplish the work. The art is related to the competencies of the project manager. So the project management related to how a project manager uses his skills, such as influencing, organizing, strategizing, in addition to the interpersonal and team skills. So let's define the project management. The project management is a tools, application, knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to the project objectives to meet the project requirements. So it is only methodology applied to the project activities, a project process. It is the combination of application in process, knowledge and skills of the project manager and the project teams, tools and techniques. Each process, which part of the application has tools and techniques. So the definition combine the processes in the application, knowledge, skills of the project manager and the project management team and the entire project team. All they are using tools and techniques. Each process has tools and techniques, so need to be analyzed and applied to the project activities to meet the project requirement. Before starting in details with the project management and study more in details about the project management, let's know the difference between the project, program, portfolio, and the operations management. Definition of program. Program management, it is application of knowledge, skills, and principles to a program to achieve a program objectives and to obtain benefits and the control not available by managing program components individually. So what's a program? A program is a group of related projects. A group, any kind of relation, same location, same resources, same outcome, so it should be related. Portfolio management or portfolio definition. is the centralized management of one or more portfolios to achieve strategic objectives. So what's a portfolio? It's a group of program and projects. No matter is related or is not related, should be under one portfolio. So program is a group of related projects. Portfolio is all the group or all the program, all the project in the organization under the portfolio. There is a project management, there is a program management, and portfolio management. There is also operation management. Operation management is concerned with ongoing production of a good or service. Always in the projectized organizations, they are managing the projects or program. There is a department, they are calling operation department, like HR department, account department, procurement department, recruitment department. They are the head of the department. We are calling them operational managers. They are sustaining the ongoing projects or program in the organization. So we cannot go through the project management until we go through the organization system, as the organization system has significant impact on the way how the project is managed. So there are three basic types of organization structure: functional organization, projectized organization, and matrix organization. In the matrix organization, it can be weak matrix. Weak because the project manager authority is weak, the responsibility is weak. Balancing or balanced matrix, strong matrix. In the functional organization, the project manager is working as a part-time project manager administration. He is not a decision maker, he has no power. The functional manager controlling the project budget. So the project manager in the functional organization is working as a coordinator. In the projectized organization, the project manager has a maximum power. He's working in a full-time. All the decision-making power with the project manager. The project manager controls the project budget. Most of the organization which providing service to the customer, like departments, government organization, are matching with the functional organization. The most like for the construction companies, they are working under the projectized organization. In between, we'll find the balancing based on the construction or based on the project manager authority. So we can classify the organization weak or balanced or strong. If it is more power, so it will transfer to projectized organization. Also, we need to define the rules and the responsibility of Project Management Office. PMO stands for the Project Management Office. PMO is an organizational structure that standardized the project-related governance process and facilitate the sharing of resources, methodologies, tools, and techniques. The responsibilities of PMO can range from providing project management support functions to direct and manage one or more of the projects. So the Project Management Office, PMO, can be supportive or controlling or directive. Still in the PMO office, there are several types of PMOs in the organization. Each type varies in degree of control and influence. It has no projects in the organization. So supportive, which PMO can be classified as supportive, provide consultative rule for project by supplying templates, best practices, training, access to information, lesson learned from other projects. The degree of control provided by PMO is low. Here, the controlling the project management is in the minimum. Controlling BMO provides support and required compliance through various means. The degree of control provided by BMO is moderate. Compliance may involve adoption of project management frameworks or methodologies used for specific templates, forms, tools, conference to govern the project or the framework. The most power is directive. BMOs take control of projects by directly managing the projects. Project managers are assigned by and report to the BMO. The degree of control provided by the BMO is high in this type of BMO as a director. Project manager. Need to define the project manager. PM is a person assigned by the performing organization to lead the team that is responsible for achieving project objectives. Project manager play a critical role and leadership of project team in order to achieve the project objective. This role is clearly visible throughout the project. Many project managers become involved in a project from its initiation, so the project manager can be involved in the project even before the project charter is signed off. In some organizations, a project manager may be involved in evaluation, analysis of the activities by the project initiation. Project manager competency. The project manager leads the project team to meet the project's objective and stakeholder expectation, works to balance combating the constraints on the project with resources availability, proactively interact with project or other project managers to create a positive influence for fulfilling the various needs of the project, seek ways to develop relationships that assist the team in achieving goals or objectives of the project. The project manager perform continuing knowledge transfer and integration. This professional development is going to the project management profession and the other area maintain the project subject matter experts. A professional project manager may choose to orient and educate other professionals regarding the value of project management approach to the organization. The project manager competencies can be a technical project management, so he has a knowledge, a skills, behaviors related to a specific domain of project, program, and portfolio management. Leadership should be knowledge, skills, and behavior needed to guide, motivate, direct a team to help an organization achieve its business goals. Also, she should be aware of the strategic link, the project objective with the strategic and business management. So the knowledge of and expertise in the industry and organizations that enhance performance and better delivers business outcomes. So let's go in more details. Till now, we did not approach the details of the project management. We should get the terminologies, understanding the definition of each terminology. We should know what is a project life cycle. A project life cycle is a series of phases that the project passes from its initiation to its closure. So the project life cycle is not the process group, is not a management process group. The project life cycle is the phases of the project. Life cycle helps determine the work to be completed in each phase of the project. So, for example, the project first phase create the feasibility study, then analysis, then design, then implementation. So this phases is a project life cycle. It's not the project management or project or the process groups. We should understand the difference between project life cycle and the project management life cycle. We are still in the project life cycle. The project life cycle or the duration of the project, once the project starts till the end of the project. So if you start the project, the risk is high at the beginning of the project. Once you proceed further with the project, the risk is minimized to reach to the project completion date. The deliverables at the start point of the project, there is no deliverables. As the project progresses, you get the entire project deliverables and the cost as well increased with the duration. But the most important information here that the risk is minimized as a project progresses. So we have defined the project life cycle. Then let's define the project management life cycle. The project life cycle is the project phases, but the project management life cycle is the process group of the project. Start from initiating process group, planning process group, executing process group, monitoring and controlling process group, then closing process group. The process group interact and overlap. The project management processes are interactive and they interact with each other. So you see the process initiating the process, then planning for the process, planning for the project, executing the process, then closing the project. During all the process group, we are monitoring and controlling the process. So monitoring and controlling process is started from the first day to the end day of the project. It's clear here. The process group interact and overlap. The project management process are interactive and interact with each other. We start the project, see initiating the project, then the planning the project's activities, project process. You can observe here that the executing and monitoring, controlling process group starting from the start date of the project till the end date of the project. Project life cycle and the project management life cycle. There is a project life cycle and the phases of the project. In each phase of the project, we are applying the entire 5 process group. For each process or each phase of the project, we are applying the entire processes, entire process group, the 5 process group, till to get the outcome or the output from each phase. So the process group, the processes are iterative in the same project phase. Project management knowledge area. So there is a 5 process group and there is also a project management knowledge area. We have integration knowledge area, scope knowledge area, schedule, cost, quality, resource, communication, risk, procurement, and stakeholders. So we have a project life cycle, project management life cycle, 5 process group, and knowledge, project management knowledge area. See, let's go in the project management process. So we have 49 processes, 2 processes in the initiating process group, 24 in the planning process group, 10 in the executing process group, 12 in monitoring and the controlling process group, and the final one in closing process. So we can see the process chart. In the initiating, we have 2 processes. In the planning, you can see the processes, a scope, collect requirement, define scope, create WBS. This is the 49 process related to each process group. Initiating is a process group, and this is the included processes, the planning and the related processes, executing and the related processes, executing process group, monitoring and the controlling a process group, you can see all the processes are related. May the outcome from one process is the income from other process. Each process has inputs, tools and techniques, and outputs. Each inputs need to be studied in details. Tools and techniques need to pay more attention to the tools and techniques, and then you get the outcome of the process. So the component of the Beam book in the sixth edition, project life cycle. We understand what is a project life cycle. It's a project phases. Knowledge area, we have 10 knowledge area. We have a 5 process group, 49 processes. Each process are related of one of the process group, and project phase. So what is a phase gate? Let's discuss about the phase gate. This is a project life cycle. One of the projects has discovered its stage, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, 4, and 5 till the end of the project. A stage gate review is a decision point. At the end of each stage, we have a decision point where activities are reviewed to assure that appropriate requirements are observed. A project cannot proceed without good decision by appropriate senior management for a specific stage gate. We can call it also a gate review is held to determine if the project should proceed or not, under what condition. So what is the use, what is the benefit from the stage gate? The stage gate as a review point or a decision point to minimize the project risk. For example, in the construction companies, in the construction projects, which is in the larger scale projects, there are phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. The developer start to construct a phase 1, and at the end of phase 1, evaluate the selling, marketing, did the entire deliverables achieve the objectives? Did we get the benefits from the project from the first phase? Is the objective, if the objective is being achieved, so the decision will go for the next stage of the project. If the project did not achieve the target and did get that the KPIs required or the project performance measurement is not achieved, so maybe the decision is to terminate the project or hold the project until to modify the strategy or modify the design. So let's go study more about the project integration management. The project integration management includes the processes and the activities to identify, define, combine, unify, and coordinate the various processes and project management activities within the project management process group. So we have a 49 processes. It should be a knowledge or integration manner to coordinate and to combine and get the results like a coordination among all this process, 49 process. In the project management context, integration include characteristics of unification, consolidation, communication, and interrelationship. This action should be applied from the start of the project through the completion. Project integration management includes making the choice about the most important, and I think from my point of view, the most difficult process management knowledge area is integration. If you get to understand the integration, so the remaining terminologies and processes will be more easier. Resource allocation, balancing competing demands, examining any alternative approach, tailoring process to meet the project objectives, and managing interdependencies among the project management knowledge area. Key concept. Project integration management cannot be delegated or transferred. It should be managed only through direct project manager. The project manager ultimately responsible for the project as well. Let's get overview about the project integration management. As you know, each project management knowledge area has a related process related to the process group. In the project integration management, this is the first knowledge area related to the first process group, develop project charter. Then in the planning process group, develop project management plan. Executing process group, direct and manage project work, then manage project knowledge. Monitoring and controlling process group, you get the process of monitoring and controlling project work, perform integrated change control. Then at the end of the project is a closed project. I want to highlight that each process in the integration management, for example, develop project management plan. This process integrating all the results, outcome from all the process in the same process group. Also, the process in executing process group like direct and manage project work, it will integrate, collect the information, the outcome from all the process in the same process group. Monitoring and controlling project work, and also close project or phase process. The 7 project integration process, as we say, develop project charter and project management for till the project close. Develop project charter is the process of developing the document that formally authorize the existence of the project, very important. Provide the project manager with authority to apply organizational resources to project activities. Very important to understand the definition of the project charter. Develop project management plan, the process of defining, preparing, and coordinating all plan components and consolidate them into integrated project management plan. So every project manager, the professional project manager, need to understand how to create the project management plan, then direct and manage project work. So if you have a ready plan, so direct and manage project work is to execute the work as stated in the project management plan. So the process of leading and performing the work defined in the project management plan and implementing approved change to achieve the project objectives. Manage project knowledge, the process of using the existing knowledge and creating new knowledge to achieve the project objectives and contribute to the organizational level. Monitoring and controlling project work, the process of tracking, reviewing, and reporting overall progress to meet the performance objective. One of the most important process defines the project management. So the project management gives you the line, deadline, the plan, how to execute the work, which activity should be executed, and how you execute it. So direct and manage project work, executing the project management plan. So how to monitor the execution compared with the plan through monitor and control project. A change request in the project is essential. So there is a dedicated process to manage the changes in the project, approve the changes, like perform integrated change control, the process of reviewing all change requests, approving the changes and managing the change to deliverables, organizational process assets, project documents, and the project management plan, and communicating the decision. Very important as well. So I advise you to insight understanding of the integration management. Project or phase, the process of finalizing all activities for the project phase or contract. Develop project charter. The develop project charter has inputs, tools, and techniques, and output. Let's go through some of them. Develop project charter. The first process in the project integration management knowledge area is develop project charter. This process is an initiating process group. Develop project charter is a process of developing documents that formally authorize the existence of a project and provides a project manager with authorization to apply the organizational resources to project activities. The key benefits of this process: a direct link between the project and the strategic objective of the organization. The strategic objective, which link with the project outcome, will be stated in the project charter. Create a formal record of the project and shows the organizational commitment to the project. So you cannot use project resources, utilize the project resources until get the project charter signed off. This process is performed once or at a predefined point in the project. Some inputs of the project charter, like a business case, describe the necessary information from a business standpoint. Very important as well, contains the business need and the cost benefit analysis, like visibility study, is created as a result of one or more of the market demand, organizational need, customer request, technological advance, legal requirement, biological impact, or social need. Also, the agreements, if there is any agreements, memorandum of understanding, or related documents are used to define initial intention of the project, may take the formal contracts, memorandum of understanding, civil level, CLA, service level agreement, is used when a project is being performed for external customers. So still in the inputs of the project charter, to create the project charter, we should get such inputs. Enterprise environmental factors is related to the government industry standards, legal or regulatory requirements or constraints, marketplace condition, organizational culture and political climate, organizational governance framework, stakeholders' expectation, and risk thresholds. As part of the enterprise environmental factors, should to know the difference between enterprise environmental factors and organizational process assets. Organizational standards related, this is the enterprise environmental factors, mainly the environmental of the project, surrounding the project, the local regulation, but the organizational process assets is related to the organizational standards, portfolio program and the project governance framework, monitoring and reporting methods, templates, historical information, and lesson learned. Expert judgment, organizational strategy, benefits management, technical knowledge, and focus area related to the expert judgment, duration and budget estimation, risk identification. The first tool and technique is expert judgment. Expert judgment is defined as judgment provided based on expertise in the application area, knowledge area, discipline, industry, as appropriate for the activity being performed, such as expertise may be provided by a group person with specialized education, knowledge, skills, experience, or training. So the expertise should be considered for individuals or group with specialized knowledge of or training in the following topics: organizational strategy, benefits management, technical knowledge in the industry, duration, budgeting, estimation, risk identification. Still in the tools and techniques, data gathering and like brainstorming, focus groups, and reviews. The second tool and technique is data gathering techniques that can be used to this process, like brainstorming. It's used to identify a list of ideas in a short period of time. It's conducted in a group environment and led by a facilitator. Also a focus group, like a workshop meeting, bring together stakeholders and subject matter experts to learn about the perceived project risk, success criteria, and other topics in a more conventional way than one-to-one interview. Interviews are used to obtain informal high-level requirements, assumptions, constraints, approval criteria, and other information from stakeholders by taking a dialogue to them. Still in the tools and techniques, interpersonal and team skills, the conflict management, facilitation, and meeting management. So interpersonal team skills that can be used for this process, including but not limited to conflict management, to be used to help bring stakeholders into alignment with the project objectives, success criteria, high-level requirements, project description, summary milestones, and other elements for the charter. Facilitation is the ability to effectively guide group even to a successful decision solution. Conclusion, a facilitator ensures the coordination, effective participation, that participation achieve mutual understanding, that all contribution and are considered the conclusion or results are full by in accordance with the decision process established for the project, and that action and agreement achieved are appropriate dealt with this afterward. Meeting management include preparation, the agenda, ensuring that a representative for each key stakeholder group is invited, preparing and sending the follow-up minutes and actions. Tools and techniques also the sort of meeting are held with the key stakeholder to identify the project objective, success criteria, key deliverables, high-level requirements, summary milestones, and other summary information. So the output of the first process, develop project charter, is the project charter authorized the existence of the project and provide the project manager the authority to apply organizational resources, comprise the high-level information. Then the second output is assumption. So the definition of the project charter is the document issued by the project initiator or sponsor that formally authorize the existence of the project and provide the project manager with authority to apply organizational resources. It documents the high-level information of the project and on the product, service, or results the project is intended to satisfy, such as project purpose, measurable project objectives. So you can find the project purpose in the project charter, measurable project objectives, and related success criteria, high-level requirements, high-level project description, boundaries, and key deliverables. Overall project risk, summary milestone display. Also, you can find a pre-approved financial resources. Initial project budget can be mentioned in the estimated rough estimation for the project. Key stakeholders list to establish the initial communication channel. Project approval requirements detail are what constitutes project success, how decide the project is successful, how the decision we make that the project successful, and how sign off of the project. Project exit criteria details are what are the conditions to be met in order to close or cancel the project phase. Assign the project manager responsibility and the authority level. Name and authorize the sponsor and the other person authorizing the project charter. At a high level, the project charter ensures a common understanding by stakeholders of the key deliverables, milestones, and the rules and responsibility for everyone involved in the project. Points to remember that the project charter created by the customer or sponsor or the initiator broad enough to accommodate any change in the project. A change that does not fit into the charter cannot be part of the project static documents and cannot be changed during the project lifecycle. There is also assumption log. As a project in the early stage, there is no definite information. As the project is progresses, we can get more information about the project, so we need to assume some issues like high-level strategic optional assumptions and the constraints are normally identified in the business case before the project is initiated and will flow into the project chart. Lower level activity and task assumptions are generated throughout the project, such as defined technical specification, estimates, schedule risk, etc. The assumption log is used to record all assumptions and constraints throughout the project lifecycle. Project management plan. Develop project management plan is a second process in development, the integration knowledge area. Develop project management plan has some inputs, tools, and techniques and outputs. Develop project management plan, the second process, the project integration management knowledge area is develop project management plan. This process in the planning process group. Develop project management plan in the process of defining, preparing, coordinating all plan components and consolidate them into integrated project management plan. The key benefit of this process is the production of a comprehensive document that defines the basis of all project work and how the work will be performed. This process is performed once or at the predefined point in the project. What is a component of the project management plan? Component include 10 subsidiary management plans and 3 baseline and 6 additional components. The project management plan include 10 subsidiary plans, 3 baselines, and 6 additional components. It includes the scope management plan, requirement management plan, schedule management plan, and cost management plan, quality management plan, resource management plan, communication, risk, and procurement management plan, stakeholders management plan. The 3 baselines, the scope baseline, the approved version of the scope statement, work breakdown structure, WBS, and its associated WBS dictionary, which is used as a basis for comparison. Schedule baseline, the approved version of the schedule model that is used as a basis for comparison to actual results. Cost baseline, the approved version of the time-based project budget that is used as a basis for comparison to the actual results. So the 3 baselines, the most important 3 baselines documents in the project for the comparison, monitoring, and the controlling process to monitor the actual status with the planned measures in the project. This is the baseline comparison. The baselines compared with the actual or forecasted performance. We are calling the performance measurement baselines. So what is the component of the project management plan? How to create the project management plan? The requirements, need to get the requirements, scope, deliverables, milestones, stakeholders, financials, timelines, procurement, security, risk, quality and approvals, documentation, escalation, change, issues, communication, organizations. So all the informations related to the project, if it is a plan or baseline or issues, should be addressed in the project management plan. This is the project management plan. As part of the project management plan is the deliverables. So let's talk a little bit about the deliverables. Deliverables life cycle. From the direct and managed project work process, the output is the deliverables. The deliverables will go through the control quality. Then the deliverables will be verified as a verified deliverables. Each deliverable goes the same cycle. Then validate the scope through validate scope process. Accepted by the customers, then you get the accepted deliverables. Then all the accepted deliverables will go to the through the project close project or phase, then you get the final product. So each deliverables during the project progress will go through control quality to be reviewed, then validate scope to be validated and accepted. So the output will be accepted deliverables. Then the accepted deliverables will go through close project or phase to get the final product. We should pay more attention to understand the deliverables life cycle. Also, risk. Risk is one of the most important plan in the project. Risk management includes the process conducted to identify the risk. So the most important factor for the project to be success, how to identify the risk. Risk registers should be created in the initial early stage of the project. You can get the risk identified from external environment like economic, political, social, environment, legal, etc. And you can get it from the industry, and you can get the project from the project itself, from the integration. You can find a risk related to integration, risk related to the scope. The scope is not well defined. There is a scope duplication. Also, the delayed time risk related to the project, limitation of budget, quality issues, production, delayed in the procurement, or unqualified sellers. It is also related to the project risk. The risk can relate to experience. They don't have the staff experience, lesson learned, bad experience from the previous project. Risk can be also related to product, service, or knowledge. Also the investigation, so the risk can be related to all of these categories, risk categories. You can create risk breakdown structure, so the risk can be identified. So the risk, the first process or first part of the risk to identify the risk. then analyzing the risk. So each process has the inputs and outputs, and tools and techniques is the most important knowledge area related to planning process group, the risk knowledge area, analyzing risk, then mitigating the risk. There is a response plan, there is a risk strategy, how to mitigate, how to avoid, how to transfer the risk based on the type of risk. So how also to track the risk tracking, maybe during the project, new risks arise, so need to be managed, prepare the risk response plan, and then again during the project, the same cycle, identifying new risks. We should to know the difference between risk and issues. So what's the difference between risk and issues? A risk or issues are generally well defined. There is no budget, so this is not a risk. This is like issues need to be resolved. There is no project team. So the shortage of project team, you know that there is a shortage of project team. So this is the issue. But if the project team is available currently, so it is not issue. Maybe you're expecting during the project, some of the project team will leave the project, so it will be a risk. So the risk is unforeseen. Like event has a probability of impact. It can be occurred or not occurred. So based on the risk type. So risk is uncertainty, uncertain event. So identify the risk. If you identify the risk, so you need to evaluate the risk, identify suitable response to the risk, select appropriate action, plan and the resources related to the risk to apply the strategy to notify or avoid or transfer the risk, monitor and control the application of risk response plan, and go with the same cycle. Before to end, I want to open the discussion. If anybody has a question, we can answer the question. So we have give a few minutes for discussion. Does anybody have a question?
No, sure, you can continue.
I can't hear you. Does anybody have a question?
Hello, Mr. Ala.
Hello?
Yeah, Ahmed Matou with you. Hello, everyone. Just I have a initial question regarding the very first part you described. Like you said that in January 2021, we're expecting to change the whole PMP system. So it's a good option to wait until 2021 January to start our PMP January.
Yeah, I got your question. I got the entire PMP will not change, only the exam methodology will change. But from my point of view, you will not feel the difference. You will not see it. It is the same number of questions, 200 questions, the same time. But I think it will depend on more in your experience. So they have increased the project manager conflict management responsibility and action. I will show you that how they distribute the percentage. The exam structure currently till the 2nd of January 2021 is distributed or extracted from the 5 process group. So you need to study more and more for the initiating, process, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, then closing. So still the exam is not exist for the new version. So it's only the exam, not the material. So they distribute the percentage on the people, like 42% of people mean the depend on the competencies of the project manager. So how the project manager will act or react with the conflict management for a particular situation. So the most of the question, or 42 questions, 42% of the question, I think, it will be from the actual situation, which usually the project manager faced during the managing the. So if you are managing currently a project, so you will get a situation questions. From the process, it's 50%. So I think 50% for study, 50%. This is from my point of view. So the exam is not started yet. 50% from hard study from the process, and 50% depending on your experience and reaction, behavior in the particular situation.
Okay.
I hope, but you will not, as a student, as a sitting for the exam, you will not feel the difference. You will not, the same study material, not a change.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Welcome. Any other question? Does anybody have a question?
No.
Everything, so I can start asking questions? If you don't have a question, so I can start asking some questions.
Yeah.
I'm expecting the answer.
Sure.
Fine. You can open the mic. I will ask you from the same stuff, from the slides. Shall I start the question?
Yeah.
So the first question is, what's the difference between quality control and the scope control? The question in the final exam is not a direct question. It is little tricky question. It's not depending on the memorization. Hard study and memorize the terminologies is depending on the understanding. How you understand the sequence, the entire sequence of the project management. So you should understand each process. You ask, when you study the process, don't memorize, you just ask yourself 3 questions for each process. What is required to initiate the project, the process, which information required so I can start the process. So what is the use of this process? And then if this process is not conducted, so what is the consequences? Each process. We have a 49 process. If you ask yourself 3 questions, I need to start a process. For example, scope control or quality assurance or develop project charter. To start the process, what is the initial requirement? Which minimum requirement? Then ask yourself, what is the use of conducting the process? And then what is the output? What is the impact on the project? So let's start with my question again. Control, quality and scope control. Quality control and scope control. What's the difference? Who can answer? You hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
So who can give answer for my question? Let's be at this open discussion.
I can. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yes, yes.
I think the scope control is because the scope are the things that needs to be done for the project. So when you're controlling the scope, you're controlling the output, the
Deliverables.
deliverables. Yeah.
So the scope control is applied on the deliverables.
Yes.
So what about the quality control is also applied in the deliverables? Yes, both of them, quality control and the scope control, are applied in each deliverable in the project. Once you get a deliverable ready, a deliverable is a part of the final product of the project. So once you get a deliverable, you need to apply a quality control on the deliverable and then apply scope control. Or maybe you apply scope control and quality control at the same time. So my question is, what's the difference between conducting the process of quality control and conducting the process of scope control? Discussion. There is no a certain answer. It is a discussion. As much as we open the discussion, you will never forget the information.
Let me attempt.
Please.
So when we say scope control, it will be describing about what objectives were determined, whether those objectives are met.
No, no, your voice is not clear. Please, you just come close to the mic.
Yeah. So scope control might be much more associated towards determining the objectives, whether the objectives are met or what were the project objectives, are we towards that. Whereas quality control might be the process of that measurement of the process or towards the fitment, whether it is meeting that path in order to meet that milestone, whether it is getting completed or not.
So both of them are examining the deliverable features to make sure that the features specification are matching with the agreed as per the project plan. Both of them quality control, controlling the quality, controlling the feature of the deliverables. You are correct. So,
Yes.
but I need, there is an answer. There is a little difference between the quality control and scope control. The quality control and the scope control, yes?
I think that the quality control is something like there is a separate department. It's responsible for this, not the project manager.
Yeah, you are approaching the correct answer. Exactly. So both of them are examining.
Yeah, so I will control the scope, but someone behind me will come check the quality of the quality control.
Yes, I will show you now the process, the flow, that how we can apply, when we can apply the project here in the deliverables, quality control and validate scope. Quality control is audit and inspection conducted or implemented with the internal team, the project team, to make sure that the deliverable feature specification are matching as per the scope statement. Then if it is achieved, if it is compliance, so we will call the customer, we will call the consultant for a validate scope process, then gets the accepted deliverables, accepted sign off. So control quality is a team, internal project team or project management team. Validate scope is accepted by the customer, conducted and accepted, conducted with external part. So it will be accepted from the customer. The customer here can be a consultant, third party, the owner, the user, whatever. Fine. Let's go for other questions. Clear?
Yeah.
The other question is, it's only from my mind. So what is the performance measurement baseline? Performance measurement baseline. Performance measurement baseline.
It's the actual results.
Sorry?
It's the actual results of the.
Your voice is not clear. So in the slide here, the performance measurement baselines are the three baselines: scope baselines, schedule baselines, and cost baselines. So this is the performance measurement baseline. If you compare the performance measurement baselines with the actual or the work performance data, then the results will be work performance information, the KPIs. So the work performance baselines is the three baselines: scope, time, and cost. Compare it with the performance measurement data to get the work performance information, like CBI, SPI, cost variance. So you need to understand the entire process. So the project management plan was the plans how to conduct, how to execute, how to conduct the activities in the projects, then executing the projects with the status or actual results, comparing the actual results with the planned, the work performance baselines during the project interval, during the project duration, monthly, weekly, quarterly, then the comparison between the work performance information and the actual status data, you'll get the work performance information to measure the performance of the project. Does anybody have a question? Or I'll continue asking some questions. So the last question is.
Sorry, I have a question.
Please.
If you don't mind. This question is particular for a specific position or major as an architect or as an architectural engineer.
Yes.
Okay, and like what you say, PMP it's helping to deliver the final result or final scope to the third party client consultant. But as a consultant, how we can PMP be used to apply
methodology in your projects?
Yes,
right?
exactly. As a consultant, yes.
As a consultant, yes. So the project management is not only applying, or the PMP is not applying for the construction projects only. And the project management processes, the 49 processes, the 5 process group, the 10 knowledge area, can be applied in each phase separately. The design is the first or one phase of the project. The design process is the first phase of the project. It can be a separate project The design can be a separate project. I will tell you some details as you are architect. If you want to start the design project, to start the design, then get the final approval, get the building permit. So assume you want to start and then get the NOCs, get the municipality approval, correct?
Yes, correct.
So we consider this is as a project, and your project has a project phases. You need to get the concept design, then create a schematic design,
Yes, that's
then
exactly.
create the detailed design, get the initial approval, get the NOCs, get the final approval in the detailed design. So this is all project phases. You can apply the project management processes in your dedicated project. So if you look at the project management methodology, they are saying that it is iterative. So the entire process group is not started with the project and ended with the project. It started with each phase of the project and the
As an
ending
ending.
each phase of the project. So your design project or design projects, you can apply the project management methodology or apply the PMP project management professional 5 process group and knowledge area.
Yeah.
So nobody can apply 100% of the process. You customize the process, number of process,
As per measure, right?
based on your project, based on the nature of the project.
Thank you, bro.
Fine. Does anybody have a question? I will ask you a question all, and I'll let you think for a few minutes. Then we conclude the presentation. So also, you need to understand what's the difference between quality assurance and quality control. Quality assurance and quality control. Shall I get the answer immediately, or you give the few minutes?
Is it the quality assurance? You mean to say that designing the quality or designing the requirement or drafting the specs or the standards, the procedure, whereas quality control is the measurement of the quality product or the process, whether it is complying or conforming to the requirements.
Yes, I think if I hear well, so you are saying that the quality assurance is related to
the design of the specification or drafting of the specification or the processes or the guidelines.
But don't say specification. You say process and the guidelines. I can accept. Then what about the quality control?
Quality control is the measurement of that the processes and the guideline, whether it is meeting the requirement or not. It's an whatever the product or the process or the methodologies which were agreed upon, whether the execution is in conformance to that or not. That's a certification what takes place in a quality control.
I think you get the answer. You are correct. But I will give the answer. If anybody have another answer? I will tell you exactly what's the difference between quality assurance and quality control. I'll give you example. We have engineer here, so if I ask the quality control and the quality assurance, if there is a deliverable from the project, for example, like a wall or a column or a slab or whatever the deliverables from the construction field, so I will ask the engineer to go and check the dimension of the columns and to compare the dimension with the approved drawing. You will go and check the dimension of the column. It is 80 centi. So as per the drawing, it is 80 centi. So he's applying now a quality control to make sure that the deliverable quality control examining the deliverables, but the quality assurance is examining the processes. You know what is the quality assurance now? Another engineer coming in the same time to make sure that the measuring tape is calibrated. The drawing is the last version. It is a revised and approved drawing. This is a quality assurance. So the quality assurance, make sure that you are following the approved process and procedures, but the quality control is concerned with the final, not the final, the deliverables. If the deliverables are matching with the approved specification and features. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Clear? Everybody got the information? Fine.
Yes.
It's clear now. So I would like to thank you all for attending the presentation, and I wish to see you soon in the entire course. Thank you very much for everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr.
Yes.
Allah,
Yes,
thank you so much for your time.
thank you very much.
The course was really wonderful. Even myself, I learned a lot from the course.
You get to understand the information.
Yeah, somehow. And I would like to thank all the delegates whoever joined the session for your time. And I hope you got the information, whatever you were looking for.
Thank you very much for everybody. Thank you.